give an opening comment?
Sure. Obviously, we signed 5 in this period here. We had 11 in the early signing period, which was a great deal for us. But to get 5 more added, and we think 5 really good players that we're really excited about, and so we're at 16. We'll probably after spring, at some point in time, look for some transfers and probably add 3 more before it's all said and done, and that'll kind of fill us up.
Hey, as you look back on this first 2-phase signing period, what was Richmond's strategy, and did it hold? I know maybe 4 or 5 months ago you said you'd probably go half your class in December and maybe half again in February. Obviously, you signed more guys early, probably than you projected.
Yeah, I had projected at that time, I thought we could get 8, and we got 11, which was pretty good. And then, we probably could have signed 8 or 9, this period and got 5. So it was, but we weren't going to reach, we weren't going to stretch, we weren't going to, take people. We knew we could fill the class in our limits later on here with, whether it's grad school kids or transfers. So, we'll go that route with it. But the 5 we got were really good, and we had battle. I mean, it was actually tougher to sign these 5 than it was the previous 11. Because you didn't have people digging in late, losing people. Because, I think if, Middle Tennessee or, one of the group of 5 schools, they lose one right before the early signing period, they're not looking to rob an FCS program at that point in time. So you felt good about those 11. These kids, you're not sleeping 3 or 4 days prior to the signing day, and that's because now they lose and they'll go and try to look and reach and so. Yeah. But the first 11 were pretty good and solid and felt good about that.
Moving forward, would you anticipate sort of the same breakdown?
I would hope so.
Same sort of
again, you just don't know how it's all going to play out. But, if you can get 10, 11 each time, early signing period. I love the early signing period. I think it's great. I think I would bet the majority of the coaches like the early signing period. I know there are some out there that don't like it at all. But, it's probably the really elite programs may not like it quite as much because they're the fringe players. Maybe they're not a Ohio State. All of a sudden they're I don't want to say Tennessee, but maybe the next tier from the top 10. They want to make sure those guys are still there just in case, and they can't. There's not a lot of fallback for them. But I would say most people like the early signing. I love it. I think it's fantastic.
How does having 2 signing days change when you recruit and how you recruit? Does it change the process?
Well, the process is going to change because they're going to let you have official visits April, May, June. And for us, I don't think that's going to affect us as much because we probably won't. If we do have an official visit, it'll be a unique situation for us. I mean, I don't see us doing that. I see us evaluating kids in camp in June and July, making decisions based on that. Now, I know, there's probably some elite prospects out there that they have to get on campus for the early signing period, the BCS schools. But for us, I don't anticipate anything changing. I anticipate us, kids coming unofficially, seeing the campus, coming to camps, touring campus, and then saying, this education, this elite education and this football program's kind of what I'm looking at, and we move forward at that point in time. It just doesn't. I don't think getting them on campus here officially helps us like it may help some of the big time programs.
Hey, Russ, as you move forward again with this possibility of the new redshirt rule, do you look at this class differently in terms of the possibility that you could stick some of those guys in there 3 or 4 games?
I love that. I hope that passes. If it passes, as coaches, we got to sit down and kind of formulate a game plan for all 16 of these guys, and how we can use them, when we need to use them, and move forward there. But as of right now, we haven't kind of talked about what we would do or how we would do it, but we will have those discussions. If the rule passes, we'll have the discussion of how we're going to play these 16 guys.
This would be your first full recruiting class as Richmond's head coach. I wonder if it feels different, looks different, smells different than it did when you were an assistant here, or pretty much the same deal?
Oh, it's the same. Even last year's was our full class. I mean, there weren't many from the previous staff. I think there were a couple that had previously committed to them that that are here. But for the most part, I mean, we approved everybody that we signed. We looked at film and approved, and so it's our class last year as is this class this year. But recruiting's pretty much the same as when I was here my first time. You're going to probably get the kids at Richmond you're supposed to get. You're going to get the guys that are looking, for the best education they can get and the best football they can get. And it's why people probably go to Stanford, why people go to Duke, why people go to Vanderbilt. Stanford's not going to be top 10 school in the country as far as their recruiting numbers. Vanderbilt's not, but Northwestern's not. But they're getting great kids that can play the game just like we are. And so it's pretty much similar to what we've done in the past.
Hey, spring football is right around the corner. Could you hit a priority or two as you move into that phase?
I think one thing for sure is to continue to get our defensive guys acclimated to what we want to do defensively. I think you guys could see it as the year went on. We got better on defense, and they started to really grasp what we wanted to do. We got to take that and keep moving it forward. I always say the biggest thing about spring practice is to develop the young kids, develop the kids that haven't played, whether it's redshirt freshmen that ran down on kickoff cover, whether it's the true freshmen that we redshirted, whether it's the true freshmen that we played, to continue to get those guys better. I mean, you'll see in spring, Justin Rubin, Andrew Clyde, Yarbrough, those guys are not going to be involved in live situations. There'll be other guys. We just won't put them in those. They don't need it. They've been there, done that. We got to get other guys, young guys, ready and better. So, we'll make sure that the limited number of live reps that we get are geared towards guys that need them. The amount of work that'll be done will be geared towards guys that need it, and it'll be a little different spring practice than we had last year. Obviously, less live work than we've ever done. We're going to keep people healthy. We're going to get people healthy. We're going to teach what we want to do offensively and defensively, and kind of move forward. Be a big spring for, you hate to say this, but a big spring for Kevin Johnson and Joe Mancuso and those guys, because now it's not Kyle Lauletta's team anymore. It's been Kyle's team for a while, and those guys now need to take control. We got some young offensive linemen. It'll be big for them to develop and get better, whether they move themselves into a starting role or a backup role. It's wideouts. We gotta be smart. We gotta get some of those young guys. But what Tyler Wilkins does, and what Tyler Wilkins does, what Brissett does. Those guys probably be limited to how much contact they have. So you just kind of gotta figure out, how you want to get guys ready. But, we only got, I think, 65 guys on the roster right now for spring with the seniors that are leaving and some of the walk-ons not coming back. But 65 is a decent number. We'll be back up to 95, hopefully 95 when fall camp rolls around or close to it.